Hi everyone, Dave here, welcoming you back to the channel. Today we're doing a video that's literally a year in the making. Well, more like how many days are in a year? 365, so 363 days in the making. Because I'm 2 days early, admittedly, but close enough. Anyway, we're gonna be going over, if I can get it in frame, my manga collection today. I did this last year. I first uploaded it on the main channel, Dave Malahan. That's kind of my personal main channel. But over this past year, I kind of refocused that channel into being just comedy stuff and whatever random crap I want to put on, and this channel to be just anime and manga and stuff like that, because I was kind of putting everything on that channel, and admittedly, it's not, not everything will appeal to everybody. So I kind of rebranded this second channel into just that, and so that's why my first manga collection is obviously a lot closer in date than it actually is. So according to that channel, it hasn't been a year, but in reality, it has been. Whatever, you guys don't care about that. So let's just get into it. First off, I just want to say thank you if you stumbled across this video and gave it a watch. It means the world to me. Honestly, it really does. All I've ever wanted when making videos is for people to care, is for people to just kind of like give a shoot about what I do. And I've gotten some really great comments on my main channel and this channel. So I really appreciate the people that have stopped by, and welcome to anyone new who wants to stop by. I mean, that video on my main channel, the first time I did this last year, got a decent amount of views. So I'm fingers crossed hoping that the same thing happens, because I would love to chat with y'all. I would love to meet some new friends and see some new faces and chat with y'all about some of your favorite manga. And yeah, let's get into it. So if perchance you saw last year's video, you may notice it has admittedly gotten a little bit smaller. Unfortunately, just the way things have been, I'm sure anyone can relate. I had to sell a few things, just needed the money, but also I really wanted to streamline my collection and kind of only collect what I was really either actively reading or stuff I just am more interested in. So, while it's smaller, it's a more kind of personal, tight, focused collection, which I appreciate. I think I'm a little zoomed in. Oh, there we go. I was going to say I'm a little too zoomed in right now. But anyway, let's get to it. So first, we have... you know what? Let me fuck with the zoom. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so we have volumes 1 and 2 of Attack on Titan No Regrets, a very cool, interesting manga that kind of gives a little bit of background on mainly Levi and Erwin. We have Barrage, volumes 1 and 2. This is complete. I have a review of it on my channel if you guys are interested in hearing more about it. Beat, the Vandal Buster, volumes 1 through 3. This is a series that I started reading as a kid, and hope that it continues to get printed in the West. I think they stopped around volume 15. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I would like to see how the story ends eventually. Next, we have Boruto, volumes 1 through 12. Honestly, the anime gets a lot of hate, but the actual manga itself, I have been really enjoying so far. I think the characters are really interesting, and of course, it's always interesting to see our favorite characters from Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, all grown up, and how the story progresses and everything. Next, we have Dive, volumes 1 through 3. This is complete. A pretty interesting manga about diving. Nothing super groundbreaking or crazy. I'm going to sit down just because I'm kind of tall. I'm not flexing. I'm just telling the truth. I'm a little tall, so it hurts my back to be hunched over the shelf because it's actually kind of short. The shelf is. But yeah, kind of an interesting manga about diving. Nothing too crazy, but I found all 3 issues pretty cheap. It's a quick read. If you're into sports, manga, or diving, I would recommend it. It's not terrible. Next, we have Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, volumes 1 through 7, and then volume 9. because for some reason I thought I had volume 8, and then I went ahead and bought 9 and realized I don't have 8. So I've got to pick that up soon so I can be in order, because my OCD is killing me right now how I don't have that. But it's a pretty cute little manga, you know, nothing crazy. I've seen the memes. Unfortunately, people have been memeing and you know, making interesting art edits, especially of Nagatoro. I don't fuck with that, especially because she is an underage character. That's not something I'm into. But the actual story that it's based off of, I find to be very cute. It's a typical like, oh, I like you, but I don't know how to tell you, and then, you know, the awkward nerdy guy. It's cute. It's fun. I'm trying to make my descriptions of everything a little quicker, because one, I have reviews of a few of these, and I'll let you guys know which ones as we go through. So if you're interested in checking out those reviews, I would highly, highly appreciate it. And also, last time I did this, my voice was sore for like the next 2 days because I just rambled on for almost an hour. And I figure you guys probably don't want to hear that, and Lord knows my vocal cords can't take it. So we're gonna try to go through this a little bit quicker than we did last year, but you know, I'll take my time if I see fit. Next, we have Dragon Ball: The Time I Got Reincarnated as Yamcha. This is a very funny kind of little one-off story. It gives Yamcha his due, because Lord knows, ever since the end of Dragon Ball, he has just been completely shit on, because he actually is a good character and technically Goku's first friend, and he's just been completely relegated to not even being relevant anymore, to be honest. So it's nice to see him get his time to shine. It's a very interesting story, and something that I recommend any Dragon Ball fan has, because it's kind of cool. Basically, a guy from our world, the real world, gets transported into Dragon Ball, and he takes over Yamcha's body and turns him into a badass because he knows what happens to Yamcha in the future, obviously. This is Dragon Ball Z Volume 12. I randomly have this. This is part of a very small, like, sub-collection within my overall collection of manga that I've had since I was a kid. I've been reading manga my entire life, but I only started seriously collecting it probably in my late teens, early 20s. Beat Volume 1, Dragon Ball Volume 12. Let me try to see what else here. Kingdom Hearts, wherever it is, right down here. And O Parts Volume 11, or sorry, 1, were the ones that kind of made up my sub-collection. So I didn't really want to get rid of them. I have no intention of collecting the full Dragon Ball manga because I've already read it. I just don't own it. And of course, I've seen the anime too. So, but I like it because it's a small little sliver of my childhood. I guess I was stupid and didn't know how numbers worked back then, because I don't know why I would pick up 12, but I saw Goku on Super Saiyan Goku on the back, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's great. And it is the end of the Frieza fight and the beginning of the Android saga, so that's pretty cool. Oh, also, I missed, where is it? I missed, Naruto Volume 10 was also part of that initial childhood collection there. But anyway, moving on. Dragon Ball Super Volumes 1 through 10, and then 12. I ordered 11 on Amazon and had it get lost. And then I got a refund, reordered it, and then it just never showed up. So I got a refund again, but now I'm afraid to order it because I can't keep going through that stress, and it annoys me. But I found 12 at my local anime store, and I've been looking for 11 because I would like to read it. Dragon Ball, the Super manga, has actually been really interesting. I'm up to the Moro part, which has some really great art and some really cool characters, and Moro just looks intimidating as all hell. He looks like he's going to turn into a really interesting villain. Oh gosh, I'm using one hand here. If I can get it back, if I can try to get it back in. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Apologies. There we go. it's all set. It's all good to go. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super has honestly been a really interesting and really good read for me. So I have been enjoying it, and obviously the Dragon Ball art has always been cool with its, all of its covers kind of combining there. That's really fun to look at. Next, we have Dragon Quest Monsters Volume 1 through 5. This is complete. I love Dragon Quest. It's one of my favorite game franchises, and this is kind of a love letter to Dragon Quest fans. It's got a lot of cool characters, like the hero from 2, Terry, a bunch of the monsters that we all know and love. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend it to any Dragon Quest fan. Dr. Slump, Volumes 1 through 5, Kira Toriyama. We all know Akira Toriyama is great at what he does. Dr. Slump is a very fun, silly little story about a robot girl, and that's pretty cool. Next, we have Dr. Stone, Volumes 1 through 7. I've been really enjoying Dr. Stone. The mangaka Richiro Inagaki is the same mangaka behind Eyeshield 21, which we'll get to in a minute, but that's my favorite manga of all time. So I knew I had to support his other work and pick this up. And, it just so happens this one, Dr. Stone, is also a banger as well. So that's been a lot of fun to read so far. And I want to continue that, obviously. I've been thinking about watching the anime as well, but I haven't gotten around to it. Next, we have Delicious Dungeon. Volume 1. This was a book that my buddy picked me up for Christmas, so appreciate that. Haven't gotten around to reading it, admittedly. I've just been very busy with other things and reading other manga, but I want to because it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, food and dungeons, that's just right up my alley, So it looks very cool. Can't wait to read that. Next, we have Volumes 1 through 25, and then down here, 26 through 35, and then 37 of Eyeshield 21. This kills me because, like I mentioned previously, Eyeshield 21 is my favorite manga of all time, and I want to finish it. First off, it's football and manga, the two of God's greatest creations. Like, how could you go wrong? But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it had a short print run, but I cannot find Volume 36 anywhere, no matter where I look. I found it in Japanese, and I found one English copy listed on Amazon for $800, and I love it, but I don't love it that much. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have 37, 37, the final volume here, and I want to read it, but obviously I want to read them all in order, and I haven't read 36 yet. So we'll see what happens. I know what some of you are probably thinking, like this completely sun-bleached library copy, but I mentioned this in my video last year. I kind of like used books, like this up here, and there's probably a couple others on my shelf, but they're hella cheap. First of all, you're getting manga for pennies compared to, a brand new copy. But also, as corny as it sounds, each book kind of tells its own story other than the one in the pages. Like, I don't know off the top of my head if I have a good example, but I used to collect haiku, and I had one from the Rancho Cucamonga library. Or is it Cucamonga or Cucamonga? I don't know. I'm not from California. I hope that's in California too. I don't even know. Jesus, where am I going with this? But yeah, I mean, that book literally came across the country, and now it's sitting on my, well, not anymore because I sold it, but it was sitting on my shelf, which is crazy. And I just find that super interesting. So I usually, if I have the option between new and used, I usually go used, but I know a lot of people don't like that. So if these turn you off, I apologize, but I'm a fan of them, so they're gonna stay. But yeah, so I hope to get 36 soon. I may just get a Japanese copy, because, fun fact, I'll let you guys in on a little fun thing I got going on. Sometime next year, I know there's a lot going on in the world and just you know, in my own personal life, but I hope if everything goes right, I will be spending 1 month in Japan next year. Sometime early next year, I will be studying there too. I'll be studying the Japanese language. So hopefully, I go to Japan and learn how to read Japanese just so I can read Japanese manga, because that's the whole point. Obviously, just kidding, but that would be pretty cool. That would be a pretty cool side effect of the whole experience. Anyway, so hopefully that goes well. Anyway, next we've got 1, 2, and 3 of Fairy Tail side stories. This is also complete. I'm a big Fairy Tail fan. I know it's gotten a bad rap from its constant fan service and its reliance on the power of friendship arc, or trope rather. But it's still fun. I like it. And these stories really help delve into some very interesting characters that may not get enough screen time or interesting plot points in the actual show, but the mangas are pretty good. These I actually would highly recommend, especially to a Fairy Tail fan. And you know what? They're self-contained stories. They're not crazy expensive. And for anyone who's not a Fairy Tail fan, Fairy Tail can be very intimidating. I mean, the manga itself is 100 plus volumes at least. And these are all self-contained. You don't really need to know a lot about what's going on to kind of get the gist of it. So, I'd recommend them. Speaking of Fairy Tail, we have volumes 1 and 2 of Fairy Tail S. This is complete. This one I liked. I found it a little difficult to get through because the stories are kind of just like one-off little. There's a bunch of like little micro stories condensed into them, and while these are one-offs and not, I don't think they're necessarily canon. I mean, they might be. I don't really know, but these I don't think are canon, which is fine. I'm okay with reading non-canon stuff, but it just kind of was a little boring compared to the other stories, but still pretty fun. Definitely more comedic, a lot of more comedic moments and elements than other stuff, even though Fairy Tail is not a really excuse me, not really a serious show, but this still found a way to be more comedic. Next we have Final Fantasy Lost Stranger Volume 1. I have not read this one yet either. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I want to get around to reading this. I just have not. So I don't really have much to say about it. Yeah. Next we have Final Fantasy Type 0. This is like I believe it's a one-off self-contained story. I think it's a prequel to the game. I honestly don't remember. I played the game. I thought it was okay. I never finished it. The manga's fine. It's a little boring, but I keep it around because 1, I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, and 2, this was actually the first manga I bought when I got back into collecting. Aside from my childhood collection, which I showed throughout my collection here, this was the first thing I bought when I was like, okay, I want to get back into collecting manga and build a bigger collection. So it kind of holds a little bit of a special place in my heart for that. Next we have Gintama. Volume 1, very funny manga, something I want to continue to collect. I haven't experienced much of it so far, but from what I have experienced, it's been very fun. So yeah, not much I can say about that. Next we have volumes 1 through 6 of Colosseum. This is a really fun manga, but something that I can't really read right now given the state of the world, and I won't get too much into it because I want this channel and this video to be a safe, fun space where we can just chat about manga and kind of not worry about all the other stuff going on. But I can't really talk about this without kind of briefly mentioning that, because this manga is about like world leaders kind of doing battle with one another, and it's about global conflicts and global things going on. So it's a little hard to read right now. In all honesty, the world should kind of take this a little more seriously, because in the manga, the actual world leaders do the fighting instead of, everyday civilians that don't really want to fight. Because I may be out of left field saying this, but 11 times out of 10, whenever wars are started, the world leaders that are starting them don't really fucking get hurt by what's happening. It's the people that don't really want to fight but are forced to. But this cuts out the middleman. I mean, you've got world leaders duking it out with one another in hand-to-hand combat. So if you're a fan of that, I would definitely recommend Colosseum, but personally for me, it's a little hard to read right now, so I'm giving it some time. But I do want to jump back into it because it's actually a very interesting read, and it's honestly, some parts are badass. Like, there's one guy who's a parody of Hulk Hogan. All the characters are parodies of real people, which is cool. But he or maybe it's not him. But he oh no, it's the parody of the guy who shall not be named right now, but he splits a tiger in half, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, moving on. We have Gunblaze West, volumes 1, 2, and 3 over here hiding. This is complete. A very cool Western manga. You don't see a whole lot of Western themed manga, at least I haven't. It kind of ends a little abruptly. It's almost like the mangaka didn't really either want to end it or know how to end it, but but the story leading up to it was really good. Next we have volume 1 of I Think Our Son Is Gay. Very cute. This is probably the cutest manga I've read in a while. I really can't wait to pick up the next volume and continue to read it. It's a very lighthearted, easy read. You can see it's obviously thinner than a lot of other mangas, so it's a very quick, easy read. It's just a lot of the stories or a lot of the chapters are surrounded around the mother and her, not what's the proper terminology? Like, not coming to terms, because she's very much okay with it. But dealing with her son being gay, because it seems like the son really isn't ready to come out, but she obviously knows, and the rest of the family, except the dad, who's kind of clueless, but the rest of the family kind of knows, and she's just kind of being a cheerful, supportive mother the best way she can without obviously forcing her son to, come to terms with something that he's not really ready to talk about. So it's very cute. It's very nice. It's honestly a very supportive book. Like, it seems like it was written by a person who really understands that sort of thing. I'm not great with words, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, very, very fun, very cute story. Next we have volume 1 of Kingdom Hearts 2. Part of my childhood collection. Honestly, the manga's fine. We all know the Kingdom Hearts 2 story by now. It's good. It's a good story. But I don't know if it needs to be manga-fied, in my opinion, because the actual manga is fine, but it's kind of boring. But it's whatever. Next we have volumes 1 and 2 of Monster Soul. This is by the same mangaka behind Fairy Tail. I actually, surprisingly enough, read this before Fairy Tail, because this is complete, and 2 volumes of manga seemed a lot more digestible to me than fucking 100 or whatever. So I was introduced to Hiro Mashima, hopefully I pronounced that right, his work through Monster Soul. Kind of wish it continued a little bit longer, because it abruptly cut, and he put a little statement in the end of the second volume that kind of explained, like, hey, kind of wanted this to go longer, but couldn't for whatever reason. And yeah, it was a good story. A lot of interesting, cool little characters in it. Next we have Naruto volume 10. Again, I don't know how numbers work, but Rock Lee's on the cover, and Rock Lee's my favorite Naruto character. It's also the Lee and Gaara fight, which is one of the best fights in anime, so happy I have that. Next we have volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Ninja Baseball Kaima. I put a review of this out on my channel. It was, I think, the first manga review I ever did, too, so it's probably not that good. But the actual manga is very cute. It's very fun. I'll let you guys watch the review if you're interested. We have volumes 1 and 2 of Nanani Biori, another very cute story about just a couple of friends and how they deal with school and their, summer breaks and everything. Volumes 1 and 2 of Yankees, which is like a I don't know, a gang or a street gang or a street, tough story. But they're all cats. But yet they're portrayed as humans because that's how they, I guess, view one another, as these rough and tough gangsters, but they're really just cats, which I find very fun. And I love cats, so it's a very cool, very interesting take on a story. So definitely would recommend that. I do want to pick up more volumes of this because it's been a good read so far. Next, we have volumes 1 and 2 of Orient. Another interesting little story. It's kind of reminiscent to stuff we may have seen before in other mangas. I mean, you'll definitely find a lot of parallels in it to some other stories, but for what it is, it's been pretty fun so far. It's got some good art direction and some cool combat in it. Next, we have volumes 1 through 11 of Opart's Hunter. This is a manga that, for me, it's also by the brother, Seishi Kishimoto, the brother of Musashi Kishimoto, the mangaka behind Naruto. So the art styles are pretty similar. But the story is like a stock market chart, where it's like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then that, and then maybe like this, and then like that. Like, I know that's kind of a very simplistic way of explaining it, but the story is kind of all over the place. Like, some aspects of it are really good and really interesting, and then others are just really freaking boring. I would still recommend it, because it is a fun read, and some of the powers are really cool, and the main character, Joe, or Gio, or however you pronounce his name, is kind of cool, and they introduced a lot of really cool new characters in the more recent, in the later in the later volumes. So I've stayed invested in it, but there are kind of some dumb stuff in there, admittedly. Next, we have volumes 1 through 6. Precarious Woman Executive, Miss Black General. A very funny, interesting take on superhero and villain stories, and also just kind of a funny manga. Yeah, I'm trying to cut down on how much I say, because we're already at almost a half an hour, and I went into this trying to make it shorter than last year's because I wanted to cut down on how much rambling I do. But if you guys know me, all I do is ramble, so apologies, but that's just what it is. Next, we have volumes 1 through 5 of Samurai 8. This is by Musashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, so it's very not reminiscent of Naruto, but the art style is very similar. This is complete. I don't know if I mentioned that. But it's a very fun, interesting story. I'm making my way through it. I want to review it. It seems like there'd kind of be a lot to cover. And I kind of also read it with kind of big gaps in the middle. Like, I read, I picked up all 5, and this was maybe like half a year ago. And I still haven't finished it because I like to take my time, and also I just get busy with other stuff. So, if there's anything you guys do want to see more reviews of that I haven't mentioned, that I have reviewed, feel free to let me know, and I'll try to get around to it. Sandland, I have reviewed, however. Very fun one-off by Akira Toriyama, very inspired by Dragon Ball, not just in its art, but in a lot of its character design, which I guess is also art-related, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But a very cool, interesting story, and a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're interested, check out my review. Next, we have volumes 1 through 10 of Slam Dunk. I love sports. I love sports manga. It's very good. I mean, there's a reason that Slam Dunk is one of, if not the best-selling manga of all time. So, very cool. Super Mario Manga Mania, I've also reviewed this on the channel. Really cool. Very interesting take to put Mario in a manga. I'll let you guys watch the review, but surprisingly good. Next, we have volumes 1 through 3 of Sayonara Football. I love, female protagonists. I love a good female, driven story, and there's a lot of great moments in this. I still have to read 3, and I want to continue reading it, because so far I've been really enjoying it. But, it's a good, solid sports manga, and so far I've been really liking it. Next, we have Toriko, volumes 1 through 9. This is a manga that I love, and Toriko as a series, I don't think gets as much love as it deserves. It's basically like Monster Hunter mixed with One Piece, with some like Dragon Ball elements thrown in there, or maybe Monster Hunter mixed with Dragon Ball with some One Piece elements thrown in there. Either way, very cool story. I have the anime. I've watched all the anime in English, but they stopped dubbing it, so I've started collecting the manga again so I can continue the story and experience it all. I know some of you are saying, well, just watch the sub. I don't watch sub. I don't. I can't do it, because if I wanted to read, I would read the manga. Ergo, this is why I have the manga. So, it just makes sense to me. The Way of the House Husband, volumes 1 through 3. This has been a fun read so far. Very interesting, very funny. Just a good kind of slice of life mixed with like the juxtaposition of like a cold-hearted criminal or former criminal becoming just a stay-at-home dad, which is cool. Volumes 1 and 2 of Yomushi Pedal. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't think I did. But very cool cycling manga. A lot of fun to read. Very thick. I thought these were maybe like omnibus stuff at first, but I'm pretty sure this is just how they print it, which is very interesting. I don't see many manga printed this way that aren't like an omnibus or something like that. So yeah. Next, we have volumes 1 through 6 of Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho, I mentioned Eyeshield 21 is my favorite manga. Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime of all time. I think it is extremely slept on. It's overshadowed a lot by like Dragon Ball and the Big Three and everything. But Yu Yu Hakusho is great. I adore this show, and I adore the manga, and I want to keep collecting the manga because I love the property so much. So. Next, I guess we'll talk about this. This is my 1 of 1, 69 subscriber, YouTube plaque that I got, when I hit 69 subscribers on my main channel. I guess YouTube just, like, thought it was such a fun thing, 69, because, like, that's obviously a super hilarious number. They sent this to me. They made this just for me. This is literally 1 of 1. There's none other in the world like it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to have that. That's a really cool thing that they did for me and only me. Next, these are some Oversized that could not fit on any other shelf for whatever. Well, not for whatever reason. It's because they're too tall. So first we have the first omnibus issue of Dragon Ball. This contains volumes 1, 2, and 3. That's what an omnibus is, Dave, you freaking dummy. But my sister got me this for Christmas. It looks very cute. Well, not cute. What am I talking about? I'm starting to stumble over my words here because I've been talking too long. But I love Dragon Ball. I wholeheartedly think the Dragon Ball anime is the best iteration of Dragon Ball. Better than Z, better than Super, definitely better than GT. No hate to GT. I actually kind of like GT, but it's definitely better. So Dragon Ball is the best iteration of the series, and I have read the entire Dragon Ball manga before. I just, like, same thing with Dragon Ball Z, I just don't own it. So this is a good start. So thank you to my sister. It's very nice of her. Next we have Levius in this self-contained like hardcover book, which is printed in our American version of reading left to right and not the traditional manga way. but very cool read. Levius is a very interesting story. It's like basically just boxing, like MMA style boxing, but like robot arms. So that's super cool. I watched the anime. The anime was okay. It had interesting art direction. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the art direction in the anime, but the story is pretty. If I'm remembering correctly, it's pretty much 1-to-1 with the manga. So if you like the manga, you like the anime, and vice versa. So, uh, yeah, it was good. I'm excited to read Levi's Est. Just haven't gotten around to it. And lastly, actually not lastly, but I'll mention that in a second. So we have volumes 1 through 5 of The Devil is a Part-Timer High School. This is complete. I wanted to review this a while back when I first got it, and I started reading it, and I just stopped for whatever reason. It's not even boring. It's not bad. I just stopped reading it. So hopefully I'll get back into it, and I plan to review it. And yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of The Devil is a Part-Timer. I think it's a very funny anime. I'm happy it's getting a season 2, I think. I heard that a while back, but I haven't heard anything since, so I don't really know what the deal is there. But from what I've read, the manga is, or this, spin-off manga is good. It's just, haven't gotten around to finishing it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Except for the one thing that I mentioned, which I forgot to put on the shelf because it's in my work bag, because I was reading it at work. But it is the first issue of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time manga. I don't really have much to say about it. I'm not a huge Legend of Zelda fan, but my sister also got that for me for Christmas, so I figured, why not? I'll give it a read. It's also only 2 volumes, so if it turns out to be worth something, I could easily review that for you guys as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys again so very, very much. I'll get out of your hair. Appreciate the support. If you guys like the video, feel free to check out any of my other content here on the anime channel or potentially on my main channel at Dave Mollahan. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, even though I would greatly appreciate it. But you guys have only seen one video from mine, potentially, and it's potentially this one. So, I don't want you to see one video and then me beg for your subscription. Like, check out my content. If it's for you, I would greatly appreciate it. If it's not, I just appreciate you giving me your time and giving me a shot. So, appreciate everything. Feel free to leave a comment on, your favorite manga if you want me to review anything. And appreciate you guys very, very much. Hopefully this video does well. Honestly, probably not a whole lot of people will care, but hopefully a few of you do. Hopefully a few of you care. So thank you guys again very, very much. I appreciate it immensely, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks.